This disclaimer was copied without permission.
Cheers, Squaffers, Costles, Wigglesivers, and all other good people out there. Hopswatch here. Once again, I've opened the glorious Pandora's box that is Twitter. I do that every day because I hate myself. And apparently, I like to do things to myself that hurt. And if you want to shame me for that kink, go ahead. But know that I am not alone. There are many other people on Twitter who do the exact same thing. Also, if you don't want to hurt yourself, don't go on Twitter. Seriously, it's a trap, don't. Anyways, this profile liked one of my tweets. This tweet, where I was replying to Sister Baphomet. IPAs are gross and everyone knows it. Now I happen to still have some interesting IPAs in my fridge, so I thought this was a perfect chance to try one of them out. Let's just see how gross this one is, shall we? So not much odor. Oh, very sparkly. Not much foam neither. I had to put my nose all the way up to the beer to be able to smell it. Looks pretty much like an orange, which is a good sign. And not much odor. And mostly sweet odor of sweet oranges. Or maybe it's just my imagination from the hue. Very rich. Very nicely bitter. And also very aromatic. So this is a double dry hopped New England style triple India Pale Ale. Wonderful. Containing water, malted barley, flaked oats. Hops, Citra, Mosaic, Nilsson, Sauvin, or however, probably botched the pronunciation there. From Folkingebrew. Groningen. Modern craft beer from Groningen. So Dutch beer, Dutch craft beer. It's going to be interesting. I myself, I live in the bland Netherlands, as you may know, also known as Denmark, just as flat, and we disband. So yeah, sure, a pleasant hops experience. Not that gross, really, I must say. Spiky, almost smoky bitterness. Present alcohol note, which is a wee bit off, I'd say. So this reminds me a little bit of triple blondes, typically from Belgium, but the Dutch know how to brew those beers as well, and I hate them for it. Triple blondes are awful. Basically, they taste of banana and industrial alcohol. So there's a bit of a harsh alcohol note to this one. But alongside the bitterness, it actually doesn't do anything. It actually doesn't do much bad. Yet I am a little bit in doubt what the main idea with this one were. I think it points in different directions. It wants to be aromatic and fruity. At the same time, it wants to be very bitter, and at the same time, it also wants to have a distinct alcohol note. And all those things mixed together, well, it's a bit messy actually. Still not gross. Far from the most perfect IPA I've tried, and I'll give it because it has some distinct. Still, it has some extinct depression. Yes, it has some extinct depression. Still, it has some distinct expression and should of course be rated accordingly. I give it 4.5 stars, and the half star is for being expressive, daring to be, well, something that rubs against your taste buds, so to say. A little bit to the heavy side, which is okay, but again, not completely distinct in its expressions, and not, as I would see it, completely balanced. Far from gross though, and I would actually want to understand why so many people have so much against IPAs. Not that I really mind, of course I do bother and care. This video should be evidence enough that I bother, but I do also truly care. I mean, people like these never get to understand the wonder, the beauty, and the more than anything else, of course, the taste, aroma, and flavour of these wonderful ales. And considering all this, it occurred to me how this guy's distaste for IPAs shows how utterly useless the golden rule is.
Matthew 7:12. Therefore all things whatsoever ye would that men should do to you, do ye so to them. For this is the law and the prophets.
Now, I love IPAs, and I'd love to get a free one. And therefore, I'd like to give this guy a free IPA, because that is what I want others to do to me. So now look how fragile the golden rule is, and how it breaks down as soon as we just slightly disagree on what we like and we don't like. And I could expand on this. I really like fish. I'd love someone to buy me a good fish dinner. My ex-wife, however, absolutely abhors fish, and being shouted at would be the least of my worries if I offered her fish now or at any other time.
But that's not how it's supposed to be understood.
Yeah, I know. One could argue the argument should be formulated more abstractly. Or something like, would you ever want to receive a beer that you didn't like? Well, the proponents of the golden rule would say, don't give types of beer that you know people don't like to those people then. But as I see it, this argument opens the golden rule up to so much goalpost shifting, you can practically still do anything and justify it with the golden rule. Here are 3 examples. Number 1. You don't want to be poor, and if you were, you'd prefer to get handouts and benefits to sustain yourself until your situation gets better. Therefore, you should give poor people some of your excess money that you have, so that they don't need to suffer needlessly. However, you wouldn't, on the other hand, want to live on other people's goodwill and handouts. You want to be independent, sustain yourself, and make your own money. And you don't want to be a burden on other people economically. And therefore, I won't give any poor person any money at all. Other poor people wouldn't want to live on my or anybody else's charity. No, they want independence and freedom to shape their own lives, no matter the circumstances they live in. Giving them money is not only disrespectful towards their personal goals of self-sustainability, you're also doing them a disservice by creating dependency on your money. And now look how Ayn Rand definitely had the golden rule in mind when she came up with her no, that's wrong. Her thoughts and wait. Gotta look this one up. Stunning, stunt man, stunt woman, Stupefied, stupendous, stupidity. Oh, there you have it. Yes. How Ayn Rand had the golden rule in mind when she came up with her stupidity. That's what it was, yeah. Number 2. You don't like to have your beer stolen, so you refrain from stealing beer from other people. But your good friend from across the road, he's drinking a bit too much, isn't he? Well, if you had an alcohol problem, wouldn't you appreciate it if someone came and did something about it, like limiting your access to the beer? Well, maybe not by stealing it, but at least your alcoholic friend wouldn't be able to get around to drinking excessively so easily. So you go about to steal the beer from him, with the best of intentions, of course. After all, it's what you want other people to do to you, should you be in that same situation. And now look how the golden rule has turned you into a thief and a dickhead in addition. Number 3. You don't want to be killed. So generally you abstain from killing other people. But then you see people killing each other all over the world, and you really want to help those people that are getting killed. And then you think for yourself, if certain people were killing people like me, wouldn't I want some other people to come and rescue me, if necessary, by killing the people that kill people like me? Of course you would. Yeah, or at least, I mean, some people would. So you go out into the world and you kill a lot of people to protect other people from being killed by, you know, the first people, because you really wouldn't mind other people protecting you in the same way. And this is how practically every warlord in the world legitimizes mass murder and war. Not least George W. Bush and Tony Blair and Anders Fogh Rasmussen in Iraq and Afghanistan. And isn't it odd how those who end up being killed are more often people from very poor, primarily Muslim countries? And isn't it odd how so many completely innocent civilians in those countries have to pay the ultimate price for the few terrorists that made the initial attacks and killings? That is, of course, ultimately a different question, I know, but interesting nonetheless, isn't it? Point being, the golden rule is perfect for legitimizing endless wars apparently. And generally, everything you do, denying poor people help, stealing, killing people, can be twisted, argued and worded into making sense according to the golden rule, no matter how abhorrent the outcome. And this is not even the only argument against the golden rule. I've got more to criticize it for in a later video, so do stay tuned. And like and subscribe, comment and share, and support me on Patreon if you feel so inclined. All this because I discovered a new Twitter profile. There is of course a link to it in the description. I don't go about exposing completely foreign people like this without properly viewing my sources. And actually, it seems my only major disagreement with this profile is on which beers are good and which are not. Apart from that, we agree on pretty much everything as far as I can see. And also, if he doesn't like IPAs, I mean, there is more of it for me. So I have nothing to complain about. And that'll be all for this time. Always remember to drink responsibly. And until next time, cheers. Don't bother waiting. I left in all the funny mistakes. Nothing more is coming.